Welcome back to the newsshooter.com live show on the Teradek stand here at NAB 2013. And we're really lucky today to be joined by one of our sponsors, Kessler Crane. And we have Eric Kessler, the owner and proprietor of Kessler Crane, and Preston, who is one of the, what do you call yourself, a Kessler Crane shooter? A guru?
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far.
Expert, good guy, educator. You're an educator, okay. And the reason why we've asked these guys to come on the show today is firstly to show us the new product. Although if you want to know more about the whole range of new Kessler Crane new products, then I suggest you check out the video that's pre-recorded on the newsshooter.com site. But what we're really wanting to talk about is stuff that works for guys on the go, gals on the go. You know, documentary and news shooters who want the lightest, fastest, most efficient way to get cool looking shots, to get nice slides, a little bit of movement, and very, very cool jib shots. And I'd say up till now that's been pretty hard to do. You know, there've been a few other travel jibs on the market. None of them probably built the way that a sort of hard-working news shooter would actually need. So what have you got, Eric? What is this in your hands?
Well, this is our new pocket jib Traveler. You know, with the advent of DSLRs and sliders and stuff like that, people want stuff that's small. It fits in their carry-ons, their suitcases, their backpacks. Like Preston, I mean, this poor guy has to lug a ton of gear out to a lot of locations.
And he's only small, so you know it's okay.
Can I say?
The guy's a mule. He can carry twice his body weight.
He can carry more than me, I think.
Right. So you know, obviously our sliders are popular, very strong, very smooth, and so what we try to do is come up with a jib that complements. I mean, it's not a replacement for a normal proper jib, but for when you're going into a location where all you have is one bag, you know, now we, you know, between, you know, a light set of sticks, a slider, and a jib in one bag, you have a full production kit. And so as you can see here, it folds up into not much over 2 foot package, 5 pounds, very lightweight, and you know, you can set it up in seconds. I mean, we can.
And it transforms.
Yeah, into what you have here.
Into this here. So, yes. You know, if you're wondering that's this.
Right, yeah, so, you know, just in seconds, it's no loose parts, so you're not going to lose anything. That was another big request that we have is, you know, don't make anything that actually comes apart where I can lose nuts and bolts and screws. It has full drag control on both the tilt and the pan, so it's going to, you know, help steady your shots as well. You know, it's just a really great system. You can see here that everything just slides out very quickly.
So you had that put together in what, less than a minute?
Yeah, if I wanted to, I'd probably do it a little quicker, but yeah, sure, that's it. You know, now with our quick release plate systems, everything just snaps in. Snap your camera in. We have one here. Snap it right into your tripod with a base.
Yeah, actually, I'll stop you right there because I have to say one of the things that I am the biggest fan of is the Kessler quick release system. And I might have had a little bit of a hand in trying to persuade you to do something, you know.
Yeah, a lot of our shooters did. I mean, that was, you know, we always had great equipment, but, you know, everything was bolted together before.
Yeah.
When you're out in the middle, like Preston here, where it's half the year, you know, below zero out, and you're fumbling with gloves, and, you know, you just can't do it. So we definitely listen.
You know, and it's the small things that make your product really so good for people doing things in a hurry, I think. You know, the fact that you've got a dedicated plate. So there's this, I don't know if we can get it close up, but there's the quick release plate system here.
Yep, it's.
You know, I have this on all my tripods. You know, I have it on my sliders, and it just allows you to dock your camera straight on.
Drop it in. Once you're in, it's locked. You know, you have adjustment.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can show you here. Let me hold that.
Just pops off like that, and then drop it in, lock it down.
And then new for the show, if we can get that back off again, I guess, there's a dedicated kind of DSLR plate. I don't know if we can get a close-up of this anywhere, but I'm not sure they can get close.
Yeah, we're coming out with a whole series of plates.
There you go. And that, you know, it's much smaller than the previous ones, you know, really well suited to DSLR news shooters, basically, and documentary shooters. So, you know, those small little things, I think, make the whole system work. And, you know, it's bang, 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 everything's quick. Okay, sorry to interrupt you there. No, please carry on with your demonstration. Oh
yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. You know, you just a couple knobs, you loosen them up, slide everything around.
Now what this also has is the lock pockets like the K-Pod has, as well as the pocket jib line. So if you don't want to have the jib extended all the way out, you can actually take these 2 screws, slide it in to the length you want, and then lock it down. So you want to go with a shorter move if you're in a tight space or something. You can bring it down
You've
to this
got,
here.
down here, I mean, you've got, like, I'm not sure people can see it, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lock positions, so it can be anywhere. You know, it can be anywhere in any of those positions.
And then another thing that makes this jib unique from others, similar jibs on the market, is the drag control and locks. So if you want to have a little bit of tension on your drag controller locks, you've got a control here, and then you also have on the other side here. So if you want a little bit more tension on here, you can tighten this up, and then you have a little bit of friction when you're operating the jib.
I mean, the other thing is it's actually panning, so unlike other designs, which are basically relying on the pan head of the tripod to rotate, you've done something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have our own built-in fluid pack system, similar to a normal pan tilt head, but it's built right into the base. So
but not similar to other compact travel jibs that, you know, the cheaper ones.
Right, ours is actually fluid drag control.
Yeah,
so a lot of the other ones just bearing, or they don't, or like you said, they rely on just the actual pan tilt head itself, which means you have to carry a head with you, which is more weight.
And then, you know, again, very important for me as a news guy is the weight. And you've done something there that allows you to make this thing very light when you're carrying it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, all these.
Yeah, so, you know, now with our engineering software, we use SolidWorks. We're able to get in there and take out as much metal we want and do analysis on it prior to even building a prototype to know where our stress loads are at. So we can take out as much weight as we can without hurting the overall integrity of the product.
Yeah, and so that's basically all these cutouts.
Right.
There,
Yep.
You know, all the way along.
And very strategically placed and also in their design as well. It's a truss system, so it really...
Yeah, and I have not used this yet out in the field, but I'm anticipating that it's going to be, you know, an everyday carry around.
When it's, you know, we've heard from so many of our shooters, if it's something that they can get out in 5 minutes, they'll use it. If it's more than that, unless it's a big setup, they're just not going to use it.
Right. Yeah, no, that's very impressive. You've actually been out and shot with it. Have you got any hints, tips?
So there's obviously two ways you can operate this. What I found the best is to take two hands, take one on this end. I loosen off both the drag control on the pan and tilt, or the up and down movements and the pan, and then kind of have one hand near this end, and then slowly move it down using both this hand to guide, and then letting
You're not actually holding here. You're just kind of
barely touching it, kind of letting the inertia of the jib do the work for you, and then just kind of slowly bring it up.
And then, you know, with all of the lighter weight jibs, I mean, you know, I guess the problem is bringing it nicely to a controlled stop. I saw there, you know, you had that pretty good. I mean, how were you getting that last little millimeter or two of
basically the least amount of human contact, the best. So
Excellent.
like,
okay, that's good advice.
Even if you go with 2 fingers, that's fine. Then slowly let go. And the key is when you let go, don't just let go. Just have your hand there with just solid.
I wish we had this hooked up to a camera so you could actually see the image, but you know, a lot of the cheaper jibs in the market, when you see the images on YouTube or Vimeo, you know, it might look great halfway through the move, and then it comes to the end, it goes, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, the lighter weight the jib, the more, you know, it's going to rely more on the operator. You know, this, like I said, this is not a replacement for like our pocket jib, which the thing, you know, you can yank it around all you want, it's rock solid. But you know, it's just like a slider is not a replacement for a full-size dolly system either. It requires a little bit of skill, a little bit of finesse, but it's easily, you know, with just a little bit of practice, easily, you know, pulled off.
Yeah, what can you get on the top here? What cameras, what's the maximum sort of thing you've used on here?
10-pound weight capacity with this. So, I mean, you can pretty much...
C100s?
With the 100s, they stick back a little further, so like if you're using our longer quick release plate, you need to slide it forward just to get, just when you go low, you can see here the amount of space between the rail and the back of the camera. So as long as you shift the camera forward enough to make clearance, it's a little tight, but yes, it can fly a C300.
Is Black Magic too heavy for this? Or have you tried it?
You know, what is the weight on it? I mean, if it's under 10 pounds, it should be fine. I don't know if it's...
We should try that at some point.
Yeah, we can try it.
And
yeah.
let people know. Okay. And then weighting on the back, have you got any sort of tips? I mean, I saw in one of your videos you were doing something quite funky.
What's really cool about this jib is it's very close to a 1-to-1 ratio. So you'll see we only have 5 pounds on the back here as counterweight for this. When you're hiking into locations where you don't want to carry weights with you, I mean, you can either carry the 5-pound weight, or if you want to use sandbags, you can have something like that attached to the end. The key with, if you're using sandbags, is that you might experience a little bit more sway on faster movements. But
you strap it up tight, that helps. Don't let them hang down here, because what happens, you know, when you do come to a stop and the bags are swinging, it's going to imply some
you know,
sway.
quite often I'm doing that. I'm either using, you know, water bottles in a plastic bag or sandbags, and I'm gaffing around and gaffing around, you know, because, you know, it only takes 2 seconds to
Exactly.
tighten everything up, make sure it doesn't go anywhere.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the other difference with our portable or ultra jib here that we have is that how long the tailstock telescope is out. A lot of the other ones that are very short, and that requires 2 to 3 times the amount of counterbalance weight because it's 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 ratio. We try to push this out to where it's almost 1 to 1. That way, you only need as much weight on the back as you have out front. So it's going to reduce how much you have to carry with you, or even how much you have to come up with on location.
And I believe, is there a bag for this at the moment? Does it ship?
Yeah, we have a soft case for it. Yep.
Okay. So, can I just grab that a second?
Sure.
I mean, it really
and
is.
it's just a small thin wrap that goes. It's padded and it has several clip points on it, so you can backpack with it nicely.
Just so folks know, this is pretty much the weight of a
slider.
Of a slider.
Same weight as a pocket dolly.
So it's 5.5 pounds with the sliding weight bar and 5 pounds without this tailstock. But you probably would want to travel with it because it gets
Even though this adds a half a pound, it reduces your weight, your final overall weight by quite a bit.
It's brilliant. Okay, well, no, I'm sold. Well, I'm sold. I've ordered one already. Okay, but you also have something else to show us, which is...
Just move this out of the way here.
Let me get rid of this. Pocket dolly. Now, I know a lot of people have pocket dollies, but what we just wanted to show people in case they didn't know, and I've used them a lot in this, I'm still learning things that I didn't know when I watched your videos, Preston, is just what's the best way to use it in a hurry? Are there any hints and tips?
So when I operate a slider, I know a lot of people will take the slider and just with their arm move it like this, and it's really, really hard to make smooth moves like that. So what I normally do when I use it is put my arm against my body and then kind of just rock my body. And then your move is always consistently smooth and you don't have to worry about having inconsistent slides.
And I saw you loosen this off
quite
a lot, so let's talk a little bit about...
Yeah, so...
well, for those who don't know, what is this to start off with?
So that's the drag control on the slider. So some people like to operate with a little bit of tension on this. However, when I use it, I usually loosen it all the way up and then just use my muscle memory almost to do my moves.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I like to have a little bit of resistance and pull.
Show us.
Yeah, so what I would normally do, of course Preston's probably better at it than I am, but what I would do is just put a small amount of resistance and similar style, but rather than how he uses his body to push, I use my, I kind of lock my arm and I pull. And I like that little bit of resistance just to kind of control my motion. So, if it's too free for me, my jitteriness, because I'm not as steady as he is, kind of comes through in the shot.
This is the great, I've got one of these, and this is one of the things I love so much about it, is it gives you the choice.
Yeah, and it's also a lock as well. So if you're just picking up, you don't want your camera slide around, you just, lock that off.
Yeah, and those, for those of you, those of the viewers who've got older dollies like I used to have, which used to have the little lock, I don't know what you call that lock thing there. It used to be on...
Yeah, just a brake. Right, it was a brake only. So this is a drag, and obviously
this replaces that. You go to one of these newer ones, you just lock this down, and it doesn't, it's not going to go anywhere. Right?
Exactly, right, yep. And then also, by removing that, you can plug in any of our motion control systems on that as well, and motorize your shots. Time lapse or visual effects, stop motion.
What are the things if you, can you talk a little about the leveling of it? How do you level yours in a hurry?
So, this is my go-to setup. I love it because if you want to do shots on an angle, you can use a low-profile ball head, put a little bit of angle there, and then take a low-profile ball head here, bring your camera back to level, and you've got a lot of versatility in the types of shots you can accomplish.
And these are Kessler low-profile ball heads.
Exactly, yeah. And then with this being here, you can use this low-profile ball head and then fine-tune where level is and lock it down.
And obviously you have another one built right into our quick release place right at the camera, so it's going to help.
Yeah, and that's another huge advantage to your quick release places. I think we can tilt it and show the camera, but
you just lay the whole thing forward.
There is actually a bubble level, just right here. So yeah, and you need, maybe you can explain why you need 2 bubble levels on a. It's sort of obvious to me, but
yeah. Obviously you'll have the first bubble level here to balance out your slider. And then the one for here is to...
Your camera angle.
Exactly. So if you want to go with your camera on a little bit of an angle, you can do that. Say you want to have like this, then you can use the bubble level here to bring your camera back to level.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about maintenance? I know a lot of people have questions from time to time about how they look after their
Yeah, we use completely sealed stainless bearings. So there shouldn't be much maintenance. Obviously, with any precision equipment, sand is an enemy. Although we did build the system to be maintenance, mostly from the factory. So should you ever, let's say, get a nick in the rail, whatever, it's not junk. We actually have these sacrificial inlays on our rail system. So should there, let's say you drop the thing on gravel, or I don't know, something really nasty happens to it, puts a big nick and you get a lump, send it back into us. We can, for a very small fee, if any at all, a lot of times we don't even charge for our repairs. We can pop these inlays out, and we have a machine that presses those back in, and we re-laser calibrate it.
Okay, and then generally if you get it sandy or dusty, what's the best way to get it?
Just blow it out as best you can. A lot of times, last summer I was doing a lot of shooting on the beach, and I actually tweeted out some photos where I did a time lapse, and because of the,
I saw that.
it buried itself in the sand. I thought for sure it was going to be ruined. I pulled it out of the sand, shook it, ran it back and forth as fast as I could, and it was perfectly fine. Matter of fact, I walked up to you and I said, "Feel this slider, is there anything wrong with it?" And you said, "No, nothing I can tell." And I showed him the picture, and I couldn't believe it. I'm not saying to do that. I thought for sure it was going to be trashed, but it survived being half buried in sand.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what you got going on here.
So right now we've got the all-terrain outrigger feet on here, and what's great about these is if you're shooting on unstable surfaces, you can use these legs to bring your slider back to level.
Yeah, it's these here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's can we move the camera down a little bit and just show you that.
Here.
Okay. Yeah, obviously it's not for tripod use anyway. So, although I see that you generally tend to leave them on if. It doesn't seem to hurt it having it on. If you want to just go there, then you can get it off there and stick it on down real quick and get it off.
Exactly. So with them on, you can quickly go between a high and low shots, literally pop it off real quickly, put it on the ground, fine tune so you find level. And you're good to go with the slide.
Well, almost.
Almost.
Yeah, that's great. No, I really like these feet. I think they're a great option, actually. Just having those little balls on the bottom there, it's simple stuff like that. And if you look at, I know to you guys it seems normal and obvious, but if you walk around this show, I'm not going to mention anybody by name, but there are other competing products you go around and they've just got like a regular, foot from the corner of a chair.
You need something of the radius because of the complexity of the angles that you can set. So we have to have a surface that can touch. And then with the hard rubber, it's hard enough to be stable, but it has enough, gription, if you will, that when you're on smooth surfaces, it's going to hold, not move around on it.
For sure, but it is that attention to detail, which is what I love about, that sounds like an advert, but it is true. Long before I ever got approached to do stuff for the Kessler U or anything like that, I sought you guys out because I had noticed that you had made the most amazing slider products. So, that's great. And then you've got this is metal, but you have a carbon fiber product this year.
We have a carbon fiber version this year. Yeah, it's a little pricey. It's another $400 over whatever model you buy. But again, if that 2 pounds means something to you, if you're backpacking, you can save 2 pounds on 3 or 4 items. That makes a lot of difference. And this is a one-time purchase. These are tools that you're going to own forever, and our stuff's lifetime warranty, so it's going to be around for a long time. It's a one-time investment. Buy it and forget about it. It's going to work every day for you.
Okay. One last question before we finish. There's a gadget over there which everybody's been getting very excited about, the Movi, which I know Vincent is particularly impressed with. I love it. I think it's a great piece of kit. But maybe we can just speak for a second about does it replace this? Does it replace that? I don't think so.
I don't think it would replace it. Obviously the cost alone separates it. I think that there's a lot of things you can do with the Movi you couldn't do with this. Obviously, you could do a sliding shot or simulate a sliding shot with the Movi. But again, do you really want to carry, I'm not trying to down talk at all. It's an amazing piece of kit. I plan on getting one myself.
Yeah, me too.
Just from the cool factor alone is enough to buy one. But no, I don't think, this you can throw in your backpack. I don't think you can throw that in your backpack. Yeah. Time-lapsing, you're not going to do that with a Movi. You're not going to do visual effects shot with a Movi as well.
What I love about this is, it's small, it's light, you can throw it in your backpack. Yep. There's no batteries, there's no, if you don't want them to be anyway,
sure.
You can power it if you want to, but there's no need to have electrical power, and it's really robust. I don't think I'd want to be throwing a Movi around. It's a precision instrument. This is precision, but it's precision designed to be used and abused. Yep. So I think for the bulk of news and documentary shooters, we're going to be seeing a lot more use of these and a lot more use of those way before you see a Movi out there.
Right.
So yeah, well, thank you very much for coming on and sharing your knowledge. If people want to know more, there is a really great place to learn more about Kessler gear, which is...
Yeah,
Well, both KesslerU.com or KesslerCrane.com as well.
Yep.
And if you go there, what are you going to find?
Well, go to KesslerCrane.com is our store, and Kessler U is our training site. So, tons of tutorials. It's also where we celebrate a lot of our customers' work. We highlight that. We use that as an inspirational piece to our future customers and other customers to get them out shooting and show how to do new and creative style shots with our products.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much. It's been educational.
Nice.